everybody and welcome to another Thursday Thinks. Today's Thursday Thinks is a review of 2021. So hello everybody, those who haven't met me before, my name's Marianne and I'm the founder of Naturally Willa, which is a source of information to help you to heal your horse, mind, body and soul. Naturally. So first off, what do you think of my light? Let me know in the comments below what you think of this light. It's a Christmas present from my father. It changes all sorts of colours, so we'll see what colours take my fancy. Probably the Naturally Willa colours, which will be obviously purple and blue. But we may have some greens, we never know. So, 2021 has been a year. Definitely been a year. So, I'm going to go through a few pros of highs and lows for me this year. I'd love you to join me, so let me know in the comments below what pros and cons and highs and lows you've had this year. I'd love to hear how it's gone. So to start off with, January for me was very, very difficult. I've been doing a lot of work with my coach, Mr. Banker. She's absolutely amazing. Love you, you amazing woman. So I've been doing a lot of work with her, and I just that January was very, very, very difficult. So in January I found it really, really hard to do the horses. It was cold, it was wet, it was miserable. So January was a bit of a pain in the backside. But then we hit February and I found the inspiration to start doing my Thursday Thinks the Thursday Thinks I think I started a little bit later. But that's when I first started picking up the YouTube channel properly. So February was quite a big month for me with Naturally Willa. And for my horses as well. So, hello, let me know in the comments below how you thought last year went, or this last year went, and what highs and lows you've had. So, with my horses, obviously, the January-February time, we had a hell of a lot of rain, and we were quite flooded. Our first initial field just off our stables was water. You just couldn't go anywhere without going through a lake. And I was taking pictures every week going, I hope this goes down. I hope this goes down. Did it? No, it didn't go down. We tried cleaning out some of the drainage ditches at the front of the property where the water would hopefully go, but didn't go anywhere, which was just an absolute pain. We're at sort of like a central point, and we have the drainage ditches and channels that go off to the lakes from our property. It goes off one side and it goes off the other, so we're sort of like at the top, and it should flow down, but it doesn't. So we're sort of stuck, and that was actually really, really interesting for me to have to deal with, and our horses as well, because my herd don't usually come across water that often, except for in the winter obviously, and they found it really, really, I think, educational to walk through that much water. My gravel path usually has a puddle here and there, and that goes off my stable yard up my first field. And it usually has a bit of a puddle, but they can walk round it. Whereas last January, February, it was actually covered in water. And they had to go through deep water that they couldn't see the bottom of to get to their field, to get to their hay, to get out of the stables. So yeah, their fear of walking through water really, really reduced. So that was really actually good. I know it was an absolute pain for me, especially when I had a hole in my welly. That wasn't fun. Horsey people, you know how quickly your wellies will find a hole, especially when it's in the muddiest, wettest time of the year. So, fun times, fun times. So when we got to about March, April time, and the water started to reduce, I was so happy. So happy. But we were getting concerned about our hay crop, because we grow our own hay, not all of our own hay. I do need to get sources from, well, hay from other sources, which is actually a good thing. But we were getting very, very concerned, because it's like, we need some sunshine to dry up the water, and we also need some sunshine to, you know, grow the hay. Can we please have some? Because at the moment the nutrients are being washed away by this constant water. Thankfully it did reduce though, so we calmed down a bit. And actually I spent the time to then spread my muck heap on the fields, which was helpful as well. And actually what we did this past year seemed to really, really help our hay. We've had a really good hay crop this year, which is partly down to weather, we think. and partly down to the pasture management, which is good. It's good. So what we did was we spread our muck heap in one of the fields and then chain harrowed it in. And in one of the other fields, we actually spread a liquid fertiliser. Now, it's a fully natural fertiliser. It's purely made from seaweed. So that was interesting to get out onto the field, and it's actually been really, really good for the field as well. And we haven't actually hit the hay crop from that field, so we're really intrigued to see what the horses think of the hay from that field, because we did actually tag all of the hay bales, depending on which field they were in, with various different colours of string or ribbon or whatever we had to hand. So we'll see what happens when we get there. But at the moment they're going through the hay from the field which had the muck heap in, and it seems to be a pretty good field. So yes, in March, April time the weather was starting to clear up, so we were starting to get a bit happier about how everything was going. But it was also when I had to start truly thinking about Egypt. Now, if you've been with me for a while, you know that Egypt's had a lot of lung issues. We finally had a formal diagnosis of asthma, and he just skyrocketed. Well, no, let's not lie. I'll get it wrong. So in, was it March time, I started putting him on a herbal supplement to help his lungs to be resistant. It had natural anti-inflammatories in, which was really, really good for him, and it kept him at a really, really low level. So while he might have had a small puff to him, he wasn't wheezing, his nostrils weren't flared or anything. So I was like, yes, this is what we need to do. And then obviously the hay got cut in July. The hay started to be cut around us in June, and then July, August time it started to really, really be cut, and that's when his lungs just didn't like life. So that was a really, really educational time for me. I was really, really thinking about what he needed, what I could give him, what other things I needed to factor in, rather than just focusing on his lungs. What other things could I do to help him? Because I am a big believer in that everything comes from the gut. If the gut's not in a healthy place, it can't provide the nutrients to the body, which means the body goes into deficiencies, which causes the issues, causes the problems. So whilst I was trying to tackle his lungs and make sure he could breathe, I was also making sure that his body could take in everything that it needed to repair itself. So it was really, really educational, and I fully admit I didn't start my research as soon as I'd hoped to, because I was hoping to do it at the end of last year, so that when I came into January this year I was fully educated and ready to rock and roll. And I got to about March and went, oops, maybe I should do something. So this year has been a real kick in the pants to help him. Now, I am going to be completely honest and say that whilst the vet was helpful, I don't think that her involvement was actually truly helpful. Now, he had steroid injections because she insisted, because she saw him on a really, really bad day and went, I can't leave this horse as he is. And I was like, I know he looks bad, but he was absolutely fine yesterday and I can sort him out. And she was like, no. We truly need to get something in him to get his lungs in control. And I was like, you know what? Okay. If you think that this will truly help him, I want to see whether it does. So I said, right, go for it. So she gave him a steroid injection and gave us some bronchodilators and all these little tiny pills that were the size of the Smarties, and they were just a pain to count out because he needed 1,000 a day. It was just stupid. So he had those, and I quickly found that whilst the medication or the steroid injection was great for that day, he was really, really bad the days after. And if he wasn't on a really high dosage of steroids to fight whatever his body was trying to do, that he was actually in a worse position. So I then had to go into full research mode to just purely help him out, and get him off the steroids, get him off the medication. And the vet called me. I was like, no, he's fine, he's okay. And she was like, but I've come to the end of what I can do. And I was like, okay, great. what now? And she's like, well, I can give him an inhaler. And she tried it on him, and I was like, he ain't gonna like this, and he didn't like this, and the inhaler actually worsens the situation. Because he gets so stressed about the entire situation, about having something on his nose, which I completely understand. If you're having trouble breathing, you don't want something over a nostril, which is going to reduce your oxygen intake, especially when you don't understand why somebody's reducing your oxygen intake, and then puffing something that you got to breathe in this stuff that might smell weird to him because he's got a stronger sense of smell than I have, so I can't smell it. And I thought, I did a lot of work with Susie, who's my instructor, natural horsemanship instructor, and we got him to where he was reasonably accepting of it, but he did get upset first before he calmed down, before he would accept the whole inhaler in his face. And it was educational, but I've learned things about him this year, but it's also improved our relationship. He now knows that if he's in a bad situation, he can come running and I will help him. In fact, this morning he was in a field he shouldn't have been in because Pagan had taken down some electric fencing. So he was in a field, he was eating grass, which upset his stomach because he doesn't eat grass, and his body is still out of whack from everything that's been going on because he keeps getting to fields, which keeps eating the grass, which keeps upsetting his system, which means he keeps having to have issues, and it's just... Anyway. So as soon as he saw me, he came charging across the field so that I could scratch his tummy because his tummy's upset. So it's reinforced our bond, which is absolutely amazing. But it's been a rough road to get there, and I really wish we hadn't gone through all that to get to where we have. On another note, though, in focusing entirely on him this year, I've left my mares alone, my girls. They were in a separate field, left to sort themselves out. And whilst I was really annoyed at myself for leaving them as long as I did, it's actually been beneficial because Midnight, now she is quite an unconfident mare. Anything that's not within her routine or in anything that she has on a regular basis, she has real issues with. She goes from, oh, I'm okay, to hiding in the corner and I can't deal with this. I don't know what it is. Don't come near me. I don't exist. So leaving her alone with the other two youngster mares to deal with, her confidence has skyrocketed. And taking her out to finally do things with her, she's really confident about it. And okay, she might stand and assess a few things, but then she goes, nope, I've got this, let's go. Oh my god, who the hell are you? Where's my little unconfident introvert gone? So it's actually been good to let her just be her. And the hierarchy within the mare herd has actually changed, and Pagan's been pushing on Midnight to say, no, I'm going to be in charge. And actually Midnight's had the space and the confidence, because Egypt's not been there to tell her no, to actually put Pagan in her place and be really, really firm with her, which has been a little bit shocking to see sometimes when she's been booting the hell out of her. But if you're watching there long enough, you can see why she's getting kicked, why she's being told, look, you don't do that. So I found it really, really intriguing to just sit and watch my mares and just leave them to it. And this year has also been interesting for the Major, because I've really cracked what he needs in his body, what he needs from me to thrive. It's something that I've had a bit of a problem with. It's not a problem, but we'll go with the word problem because I can't think of a better word. But so he has weight issues because he is a Belgian warmblood, so he's got a little bit of a delicate constitution because of the thoroughbred breeding that's in there, and also the fact that he's highly bred and stuff. So he's got bad conformation in his teeth, he's got a digestive system from hell that just constantly gurgles, and he's gassy, and he's prone to ulcers, and it's just crazy. So having the Major has been a little bit of an experiment of what I need to give him so that he can thrive, so that his digestive system's been in the right place. So it's been a game of what does he need as the main forage? Does he need a hay replacer? Does he need hay as well? Does he just need hay? And figuring out all the different additives that his body needs to hold weight, not only hold weight but also heal his digestive system so that it can work in the best way possible. So that's been a bit of an interesting journey for us, but I've cracked it this year. He is looking the best he's ever looked. He's moving the best he's ever moved, and with energy. Now this is the major. He is more woe than go. He'd prefer to stand still than do anything else, whereas this year he's marching everywhere. I'm like, small victory, yay! So my boys have been a real focus this year, and that has actually been a good thing. But thinking about Pagan and Little Spring, because they're young and they've been left to it, it hasn't entirely been beneficial for them. Now Pagan has now learned how to take up electric fence posts. She has recently figured out that if I've electrified the fence post itself by wrapping exposed wire around it, that she can kick it and it'll still go down, which is incredibly intelligent. Incredibly intelligent, but at the same time annoying for me, because then she's letting Egypt and also Little Spring into fields because they're quite happy to jump a live electric wire provided it's down slightly. So she's also started to have teenage attitude. She went through her first seasons this year, so her body's out of whack. She doesn't know who she is anymore. Her body doesn't know who she is anymore. She doesn't know her position within the herd because the herd was split up slightly this summer, so it's gone a little bit wonky. I've left her to life a bit too often maybe, so that's gone a little bit out of whack. And then combine it with Little Spring as well, who is the most sweetest little darling ever. But personal space doesn't mean anything to her anymore. She is right in your face. She's poking your butt when you're trying to poo pig. She's in the doorway when you're trying to get out of the tack room, and it's just, which again is my fault for leaving her as long as I have, or did over the summer months. But again, it was a necessity. So those are my highs and lows over the summer months, and it has been an emotional roller coaster, which I think is why I've just naturally taken most of October, November, December off from Naturally Buller, because I've had so much to just absorb and process within my own herd and myself, and I've taken that time and energy to pick up my herd again and go, you know what, I know that I left you to life, or I know that I was focusing on making sure that you were okay, or making sure that you were fed, depending on who I'm talking to, and actually go, right, now who are you? What is our relationship now? Is it where I want it to be? Is there something that I can do to help this? Is it something that is just a phase because of where you are in your growth pattern, in your own internal development, mental development, emotional development? So I've been taking the last few months just to focus on them a little bit more, and also focus on me and just go, right, am I okay? It's been a hell of a stressful year in just dealing with Egypt alone, not to mention all the other bits and pieces that have happened with, you know, the family and things like that. So I'm grateful to you all for being so patient with me, not to mention the new people that have joined us as well from various bits and pieces, whether it be the Barefoot Horse magazine, because I started writing for that magazine this year, and actually my latest article, as I've just written the latest article which will go out in the next issue, so that's been taking up time as well. So it's all been really, really interesting, and I've had to take the time just for me, just to breathe, which has also given me space to think about what I want to be delivering to you, and the things that I want to put on offer for you, the information that I want to provide it for you, and in what way, in what format. So it's also been great to have that space to think. So hopefully January is going to be the start of something new for us all. So I hope you're all staying tuned. So as I said before, let me know in the comments below how you're doing with how your year has gone. Has it been what you've hoped it has been? Have you achieved what you wanted with your horses, with yourself? Because I think whilst we focus so much on our horses because we're horsey people and they always come first, sometimes we do have to take a moment and focus on us. Are we okay? Are we happy with how things are going? If things are working for our horse, great, but is it working for me as well? So it's something that I have been thinking about. I'm wondering if you have as well. Right, so where am I? Oh, I've gone over a little bit. So I think I'm going to leave it there for today. I hope that everybody else has had a fabulous Christmas and have got something great planned for New Year's, both for you and your herd. I hope to see you very, very soon in January. As I said, I've got a few things planned for you, so stay tuned for that. Connect with me on Facebook, join the Facebook group. Also, subscribe to the YouTube channel where there's an archive of all the Thursday things as well as various other videos about track systems, what work I've done for the advantage of the herd, also various things about various different plants. And check us out on Instagram, @Wenatchee_Willow, for virtually daily updates on the herd, which I'll be restarting in January. And I'll see you all next week for the next Thursday things. I'll see you soon. Bye!